question comes from David in London. What is your view on technological unemployment as well as living in high-energy society? Whereas there's 4,000% more horsepower per person than there was 100 years ago, where technology could wipe out 75% of employment, do you think people having no government regulations could quickly destroy the ecology in pursuit for money?
No, I don't believe that technology destroys jobs. Technology liberates people to pursue different jobs. It makes people more productive. It doesn't destroy employment. It changes the employment landscape so that we're more productive and we have higher standards of living and we have more leisure. Give you an example. How many people did the bulldozer put out of work, right? Because obviously, if one man has a bulldozer, he can probably do the work of 20 men with shovels, maybe 100 men with shovels. So did the invention of the bulldozer put 100 people out of work who used to dig with shovels? No. Because now, that one worker is so productive, those 100 people no longer have to dig ditches in construction. They can do something else. Because remember, when let's say you're building a house and now you have all these tractors that can dig out the foundation and you can build a house with a lot fewer people and take a lot less time. Well, now a house is a lot less expensive. So now when a person buys that house, they have a lot more money left over to do other things that they couldn't have done before because they had to spend so much on this house. And now there's demand in other areas. So that's what happens. You know, labor-saving devices, yes, we can now build houses with fewer people than we could before, but now those people are able to build other things like computers or television sets. I mean, if you go back in time, you know, imagine when everybody was working on the farm and nobody could do anything but work in a farm. Well, as we developed labor-saving devices that made farm workers more productive, we didn't need to have as many farm workers. Things like, you know, the old Eli, you know, Whitney, the cotton gin, or things like that. You know, they put farm workers out of work. But they weren't out of work for long, because now that we didn't need to have so many people on the farm, we were able to move people to production lines to produce washing machines and dishwashers and vacuum cleaners and automobiles. If everybody was still working on the farm because we hadn't come up with these labor-saving devices, then we never would have had all these other things, because we wouldn't have had the manpower necessary to do it, because everybody would have been stuck on the farm. So, yes, I know that whenever there is a new technology, it is always easy to point to the people who are put out of work immediately, because you can see that. I've come up with a new labor-saving device that now makes these workers unnecessary, and so they lose their jobs. And you can see that immediately. But what is unseen is what can now be done by these individuals, because they no longer have to do what this machine is able to do. And now society benefits from the output of the machine and the workers. And ultimately what it's all about is having more goods and services. And the extent that we can create those goods and services with fewer people, then we can get even more goods and services. And of course, another thing that we all value is leisure. The more we can have, and working less to produce it, the more leisure we have, the more time off we have. And time off and leisure, time to spend with your friends, with your family, or just relaxing by yourself is a value. And to the extent that we can produce more and work less, our standard of living increases and we all benefit.